For well over a decade, the renowned video artist Bill Viola has worked relentlessly on a unique commission for St. Paul's Cathedral in London to create, on either side of the high altar, a permanent video installation depicting Mary, the Mother of Christ, and the Christian martyrs. Throughout that time, the filmmaker Jerry Fox was there to document Viola's journey from beginning to end. This month, London's Royal Academy has chosen to display 12 video installations by Viola alongside works by the great Renaissance artist Michelangelo, primarily drawings loaned from the royal collection. As a young man, Viola was heavily influenced by the father of video art, Nam June Paik. In the early 70s, Viola lived and worked in Florence, the home of Renaissance art. He was there as a technical director of a cutting-edge video studio. But over time, the themes and imagery of those Renaissance artists began to play an increasing part in his own work.
Bill Viola is one of the pioneers of video art and really experimented with the medium, got under its skin, tried to understand its properties, its dimensions, and transformed it. Was part of a generation that really brought it into the mainstream of contemporary practice. For example, we find behind us a piece that depicts a man and a woman in old age scrutinizing their bodies as if to try to understand perhaps where their youth have gone, or try to read the folds in their skin like the rings of a tree. They're clearly towards the end of their life. It's an elderly man and woman, and the images are projected onto black granite. It really is a very moving, symbolic representation of our passage through life.
As you know, I've been really involved in looking at late medieval, early Renaissance art, and that's a huge part of my awakening, really, because when I was younger, I didn't want to pay any attention to that at all. That was of no interest to me. I had video, it was new, it was on the way, it was some brand new way of making images, and that's where I wanted to be as a young artist. And it took me a long time. It was really up to my mother's death, really, I think that turned that around for me, and I began to look at these images which these people had been creating.
I'd always thought, as long as I'd known Bill's works, how close a thematic relationship there was between Bill's work and Michelangelo's. And we have in the Royal Collection one of the great groups of Michelangelo's finished drawings. And I showed them to Bill. He didn't really know them. He knew them by reputation but didn't know the works before. And he was awestruck by them. They are the most extraordinary things, and in the flesh they have a power that no reproduction can convey. And from that moment we started talking about the idea of a possible exhibition of Bill's works in relationship to Michelangelo's.
The expression of grief is one of the most profound. I'm looking at it without the glass, without anything, 6 inches away, and seeing every little detail of what this amazing hand created. The representation is so striking that to me this whole room is just, vibrating with emotions. First thing I did was think of this piece. Like, it was immediately, just the most important thing. I'm saying we do need to have the image of death in this room as well, because it's so clear here.
Bill featured his dying mother in this triptych.
In February '91, his mother passed away. And it was a kind of a really shocking thing because it was an aneurysm. But for 3 months, she was lying in a coma. And so that was an incredibly difficult thing to have to live through when you're watching someone dying, basically. Yes, this was a very, very critical moment.
Well, Bill, thank you for coming across.
Well, I think the whole notion of doing something on the martyrs and Mary is, for me, the most extraordinary opportunity to really bring in some universal principles.
And you've picked up all the resonances that we were feeling after. I saw Bill's exhibition at the National Gallery, The Passions, a year or two back. And I suddenly realized what would happen to people who are visitors to St. Paul's if they were confronted by a multi-panel display. Because if you have a painting, you stop for 15 seconds and you pass on. But Bill's work, it seems to me, which is in a contemporary idiom, actually asks that you stop and you engage with it. And I think it may yet prove to be an art form which requires a greater degree of involvement than the more traditional forms. We are a Christian cathedral.
Right.
And of course for us, these two locations wrap themselves around the high altar.
Right.
With all the connotations of death and resurrection, which we find in the Christian story.
Absolutely.
So that's also important.
Yeah, I mean, Christianity basically, in a very fundamental way, I don't want to be too simplistic here, it's the story of a birth and a death. I mean, that's really the essence of it all.
It's about life, death, and life.
Yes, that's true.
If I may.
That's right. Yes, the never-ending cycle of that. And rebirth. And I think that kind of connection, which connects the gods, which always seem beyond people, at that moment became all of a sudden one of us and became connected to us.
10, 20 years back, there were small chapels in these two places dedicated to Mary and to modern martyrs. And for all kinds of reasons, before I was here as dean, those two chapels were set on one side. But it did seem to me that there was a connection between Mary on the one side and modern martyrs on the other.
Maybe for some kind of picture? Or
they may or may not have done, because you see, we've got these rectangular panels.
They call out to have something.
They're inviting, aren't they?
Absolutely.
They're saying, come on, give me a video artist. Or something like that.
Yes, we want a video artist. Sure, Wren had that in mind when he was designing.
I think he may have had. There you are.
There is this inset into the wall, and obviously someone had intended.
I had the absolute incredible experience as a young artist right out of art school. And all of a sudden, there's this incredible human being, Namjoon Paik, who is really taking this medium and making it do crazy kind of things. It was just really, really powerful. And there was three of us, were doing this together with Namjoon.
Where it all comes together very interestingly for Bill is that Namjoon Paik's TV Garden, and one of the people helping to install that work at the Everson Art Museum in Syracuse, New York, was Bill Viola, because he was at Syracuse University as a student and was discovering through that place this medium and the possibilities that resided there.
He just inspired me so deeply, and that set me on my career and just shot me out like in the cannon. You know those guys in the circus that they shoot out in the cannon? It was kind of like that.
This period when he was at Syracuse University, this is where he was transformed. Bill, in his very first tapes, Information, broke the representational image on the screen, had the sound push what you could see on the monitor, and it created a radical abstract work. So right from that beginning, he was really wanting to use this medium as a new form of expression.
Try to stay in a line, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go to the far stake.
In 2011, 6 years after receiving the commission, Bill Viola finally began filming in earnest on the story of Mary for the St. Paul's Project.
That's great. We got to get rid of that, obviously.
What?
Those hills are fantastic. And look how dark the oaks are. This real texture. Wow. No, but look out here, everybody. Look at the amount of color that's in that hill right there.
Yeah.
And most people would look at it and just say, "Oh, it's like a dead field," you know. But look at it. I mean, besides the movement in the grass right now, but look at all the browns and there's even some purple out there, green, multiple shades of green. It's really, really extraordinary.
Mary, is there any sort of a rig that the camera could be facing back and you could have a monitor forward?
No.
I think that would be really a great thing, wouldn't it?
That'd be a great thing.
No, I'll be fine.
The external world for me is just a kind of backdrop, and that's fine. And I think the physical world has a very special role to play in the cosmos, certainly. But I feel that the human soul, basically the software, is really where I want to be with my camera, whatever that is. We were able to get Alessia, our Mary, to come down the hill.
Look at the ground. Camera, get ready. Go.
And in the course of that simple walk down a hill, to completely transfigure herself.
Okay, now come right to camera, all the way in.
She's kind of tired, yeah, but she's actually become. It's actually you've gotten stronger, really, kind of in a way. And you had these experiences along the way. You had.
So it is mixed.
And now you've become stronger because of those experiences that happened to you. Than when she started. You're stronger.
Yes.
It feels very natural.
Yeah, it does. Beautiful.
They're both touching each other's tummies, just to show the viewers that they recognize that they're both pregnant.
And then after that moment feels itself out, I will take her hand,
And I will.
this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the passive one, remember? Because you just came and it's like you're still...
I'm not active, but emotional.
But you're perfect, yes. You're not, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's the one that's helping you to arrive, you know, to really helping your cousin, you know, your little cousin.
Bill Viola tackled the meeting of Mary and her cousin Elizabeth once before, in 1995, in The Greeting.
Further left. Okay, that's it. Straight. Go left, Alessia. Little left.
I need to slow down Alessia a little bit more.
Okay.
And I think the camera needs to stop when they stop.
Yeah.
Alessia, stay to the right. Stay to the right, Alessia. Okay, we look down. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, bring her close.
We're going to set up a series of marks, guys, for Gabriel, because
Gabriel has the longest single approach, and that's got to be dead on. The crucifixion is an important icon, basically, in the Christian tradition, certainly. It is the notion of suffering. There's Mary Magdalene, according to Grunewald. So this is her ointment jar. What she does is anoints the feet of Jesus. And the thing that Grunewald does, which is so phenomenal, that I love, and I saw you kind of doing it, I'm just pointing it out to you again, is the hands. Grunewald's hands are so expressive, and they're unusually expressive. Grunewald was one of the greatest painters in the history of art. He just had this incredible depth to him, and he was fearless. And so I have these three people that are just waiting for this moment when the person they love the most will die. So the Vigil at the Cross is that. It's about that waiting. There's nothing like this image that we're seeing right now of the setting sun in the Salton Sea. It is just magnificent. I've been coming here for most of my adult life. Every single time I come here, it is not just a little different, it's vastly different. I think these kind of very special places, here in the Salton Sea, Mojave Desert, Death Valley, these incredible places that we have in America, really are traditionally, those are the places where people came to understand themselves, to go deeper and deeper into, not into life, but into the cosmos in general, which is even beyond life.
Little bird came out. How cute.
I remember seeing my mother passed away. I looked right at her when she took her last breath, and yes, it was sad. Yes, it was unacceptable, but in the end, there was a deeper depth in there that went to a place I would say was beautiful, not in a cosmetic way again, but in a real inner way, and I'll never forget that gift. That was the last gift she gave to me, actually, to teach me that beauty and death and life and art are all connected. You can find beauty in the birth of a child, but you can also find beauty in death. I've been working with death for many, many years because I had a near drowning experience that almost killed me when I was 6 years old. We're just here for the ride. From enter stage left, exit stage right. That's it. I saw this beautiful light coming from under the water. And so I just went into it by myself. No one told me to do it. And it just took me. It was really, really powerful. And I kept going that way. You know, go down, go down, go down, not instead of up. And then, you know, and I should have drowned. I should have drowned for like this much time, and I would have been gone. And there would be no Bill Viola, no all of those movies, the things that we've done. You just feel like you want to go back to that place, and you want to go back to it and go back to it, and that's why all of the water comes in my work. That's where it actually happens, at that one point. And then every single time like that, every time I've seen water, I have to have water.
This work is always dear to my heart. It has to do with dreams. I think the dream state is one of the most important things in human existence.